All right, good morning. Welcome to Thursday, October 20th. Good to see you once again. Today we'll start Luke and read the first three chapters. Now, as we've mentioned, each of the gospel accounts is different. Matthew, written more for the Jew, connecting Jesus to Abraham and to David. Mark, a little bit less teachy, a little bit more about the action, written more, from Jesus' servant standpoint. Now, Luke is written by, obviously, Luke. We know that for a couple reasons, but the biggest one is that this mentions that it was in chapter 1, it says it was written to Theophilus. Acts also says it was written to Theophilus. And then Luke starts using first-person pronouns in Acts chapter 16. So we know Luke wrote it. Colossians chapter 4 also tells us that Luke was a physician. And so you can see a little bit more writing in Luke. Luke was from Antioch and possibly even a convert of the church there. Some say you can see a little bit of Paul's influence in the writings. But now remember, the writing was given to Luke by the Holy Spirit. So, keep that in mind when we say that. The influence of other people and how much that, comes into play. I'm not really sure I have a good answer for that. So with Luke being, physician from Antioch, it's the only gospel was not written from a first-hand account standpoint. So Luke is portraying Jesus as the perfect man. He is writing to appeal to the Greeks. Theophilus is a Greek name. Matter of fact, you'll notice that the names in the genealogy, they were Greek substitutes of the Hebrew words. So the names look different here than they do in Matthew chapter 1. So with that, Son of Man would probably be the key word or phrase of Luke. And then we find Luke being, faithful, and Paul calls for him in 2 Timothy chapter 4. And so he stays faithful all his life. So about half of the material in Luke is not found in the other three Gospels and gives somewhat of a more complete biography. So of the 7 parables of the kingdom found in Matthew, only 3 of those are found in Luke. Again, not writing with a Jew in mind at all. All right, then you get to chapter 1, John the Baptist, and Zacharias looks at the angel and says, "How do I know these things are going to be?" You look down here in verse 19. And the angel answered, said to him, "I am Gabriel that stand in the presence of God." His lack of belief didn't stop anything. And a matter of fact, it doesn't matter what he believed. This is going to happen. And then Gabriel's like, "I come from the presence of God. You're going to question this?" Completely the opposite of Mary's reaction, which was, okay. Mary and Elizabeth end up in the same house. John the Baptist, as a fetus, leaps for joy. Now in Luke 2, it talks about the birth of Jesus Christ, the appearance of the angels to the shepherds, and the shepherds going to meet Jesus at birth, talking about Simon, talking about Anna. Notice there's no mention of the wise men. There's no reason to connect that story here. And then you get towards the end of Luke chapter 2, and you find that Jesus, when they go to Jerusalem, stays back, already reasoning with people. I almost wonder if there was there a scenario where his earthly ministry starts at 12? Because it says he was subject to his parents. Imagine being perfect and being subject to sinful parents. Chapter 3 goes back into John the Baptist. And then we get to the second half of the chapter. It's a genealogy of Jesus Christ through Mary. Now, I know it says Joseph there, but all of these are men. And so, it's Mary's bloodline going back then to Adam. Now, notice here then, it also goes through Zerubbabel. We've talked about that guy a lot. He is the signet. Both bloodlines go to him, and then they separate back out, which is physically impossible. But however, there's an adoption there, and just amazing stuff. All right. Hope this is helpful to you today. Catch you tomorrow.